It's a wonderful day to laugh and sing. Hey there, neighbor. How are you? Well, today, in this episode of Training Each Other, me and Parker are going to be exploring Tango. So I hope that you enjoy this as much as we do. You know, we're going to try to work on some things that are maybe Parker might not know, maybe some things that I know that Parker might have some input on, but ideally I'm going to try to catch Parker by surprise and teach him something he does not know. So hopefully, if you're from the Viva Dance family or elsewhere, we'd like to thank you for joining us. And remember, in this class, we're going to be doing stuff for us. We'll be teaching ourselves this information. So we will not be addressing you per se, but hopefully you will get something out of it. I'll be training Parker with everything that I have on a subject I like to call ganchos. So, who's at the door? Let's go and check this. Hold on one second. Hi, how are you? Parker.
I can't do this.
Hello. He has arrived. So I guess I will turn off this speaker back here just so it doesn't keep conflicting with the stuff that we have. So, all right. So,
Our producer is pointing at her ear. Are you having a hard time hearing us?
it seems like the neighbors
No, it's good.
too
Oh,
rowdy
all
for
right.
us to deal with. So, all right. So today, remember, this class ideally is for Parker from myself. We are trying to do a series of workshops where we teach each other stuff. We put it online so you guys can get something out of it. So hopefully,
And just to show that we are continuing our training, just as we expect all of you to be doing over this whole year and everything as well. Yeah.
again, you can continue doing this after all this gets back to normal, but this is just us training each other, so there's going to be times where I'm going to be correcting Parker. Parker's going to be giving me feedback. Again, just like a regular class, the way we would teach you.
And we have these fancy new mics today, so I apologize for any quiet obscenities that you might hear when I mess something up.
No! You'll hear that sometimes. And,
All right.
but, all right, so we're going to get started.
So what are we working on?
Hopefully you like it. As I said before, I am going to try to instill in you ganchos. Now,
Ganchos.
what are ganchos? Ganchos are hooks.
Is that what it actually means?
A gancho is a physical hook that happens in tango. And what I'm going to be teaching you now is a little bit of the misconception of what it is to learn tango and how to go about them correctly.
All right.
So, but first, I'm going to play a song. I'm going to have you lead me in. So, Tango's a professional. Tango's a professional. Parker is a professional, and he knows some tango. So, the idea is that
Very little bit. Very little bit. I know how to walk, so that's why.
we're gonna try to do a little bit of dancing, see what he throws at me, and then we're gonna go to working on those ganchos.
All right.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
I put him on the spot last week with Zouk.
just so you guys know, there's two types of tango. There's traditional and not traditional. We're going to be using non-traditional music for our lesson today. Just so you know, it's a little bit more modern, so you guys can actually enjoy that. But if you like traditional, maybe later on we'll do a session on traditional Argentine tango. All right.
Are we doing closed, open?
Up to you. All right. So, all right, we're going to talk about some nuances of tango, and this is going to kind of put us into perspective to what's going on with the ganchos, right? So,
I tried a couple things.
nope, yeah, so a lot of them, again, being the more sensitive the follower is, the harder it is to throw them off. The less of a follower that we are, then the harder it is to lead us, so we have to be more clear.
I feel like on some of them, I know I wasn't giving you enough space.
That is correct. So, so the first thing in tango is when we talk about tango, when we talk about ganchos, is if we're creating a gancho, it is something that we create the space for it to happen, rather than we do a move and it's supposed to happen, right? So, the first
So
thing
I can create the space, and then the follower doesn't have to do it.
you have, yeah, because you have to still lead it. You still have to lead it. So the one of the exercises that we want to work on when we think about tango and ganchos is that when we are placing our foot in front or beside, that you are always trying to, as a leader or a follower, you're always trying to create the space through the free leg. So my standing leg is my grounding leg. That means that I'm stepping on it. The other one is not. But when I place my leg away, I cannot put any weight on it to create the space for gancho, right? So what we're doing is we're trying to reach and actually try to create almost like a 90-degree action. Now, it's not going to come up to 90-degree like Captain Morgan, right? But we do want to create the space that if once we create the gancho, we can go back to our base standing leg. So we can go in front, beside, right? In these two angles, and the same thing in front and beside with the other one. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that people do is they try to create a gancho in this manner, and they don't lift the heel to create more space. Or they put their foot in and they also put their body in. That means I'm also pushing you. So if I were to create a gancho for you, if I put my body towards you, I end up pushing you over, right? I always want to actually be in my own space. You're in your own space, and that creates the gancho, whether it is that I do it in one direction or the other. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now the second thing is ganchos can happen on a back step or a side step. They cannot happen in a forward step, or we'll break our follower's knees. So anytime you take a side step to either side, we can actually end up going for the gancho. So that's a side gancho. Churu. Or when you go back, we can go for a back gancho. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm just going over the technical part of it. So the ganchos only happen on the side and a back step. And then the second thing that we'll also have to remember is that when I go for a gancho as a leader, I'm always going for the leg you're about to put weight to. So when I say that is, I'm actually going for the weight-bearing leg. So on that side step, I'm going for the weight-bearing leg to create a gancho. If I go for the opposite leg, I end up displacing it. And as you take a side step, right? Anywhere from the non-weight-bearing leg to almost the middle, it's all displacements. And that's a different type of class, but understand that if you go for a gancho and you put your leg in between or closer to the non-weight-bearing leg, you're going to end up pushing my leg away. Even if you try to create space, it actually pushes it away. So what we want to do just to start out with a simple side basic. So we take a side basic. I place my leg in, and I try to go through the line for that action. So I'm stepping, and then as you are transferring weight, I actually start twisting you to create a twisting action so that leg can naturally wrap around into that gancho. All right? And then same thing, we'll do it to the other side. Now, really important thing, because you're going to do this to me next, is once you get to the split weight, that's when I start turning your body. When I start turning your body, that means that, right, when you take that side step, if you're in split weight, when I twist your body, both of your legs do this. They twist, right? So again, took a side step, I twisted. Now, when you twist and you just pull your front foot back, it should naturally cross. Because I'm over twisting you past the center line, so your legs end up doing a corkscrew. And what happens is that leg then does a gancho, right? So if I catch you too late, you get on that leg, you start closing your feet, and I displace you, or I try to put my foot there for a gancho, one, your foot will sandwich my foot and end up staying on that same side. So I have to catch you in between for that twist so the legs can naturally create the hook. Yeah? So those are the rules of thumb that you have to remember. We can only do ganchos with a side step.
All right, let's try the side step. Yeah.
When we take a back step.
One at a time.
All right. I'm eager. All right. So just a side step.
So I'm going to step and place.
Yep.
Rotate, create space.
And then here, straighten your knee, and that's what gets me out of it. And that was nice what you did. You actually took me to the side, and you gave yourself time. You stopped me in between. Then you started twisting me. So ganchos or movements in tango don't have a specific time. If you want to go with the music or you want to go halftime to the music, you can. That's the beauty of Argentine tango.
So do I have to switch to that outside leg or?
No. So ganchos can be done with both legs.
So I can go back and forth with one leg.
Yes.
And I kind of let the foot slide to the opposite side to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's different ways you can do it. You can slide it, which is the easiest, or some people just step. It all
try
depends
the other one.
how they feel.
I realized I didn't do any ochos when we were dancing. Okay.
That is we'll get to it later. All right, so yeah, so then there's another thing that I want to talk to you about is your knees, right? So whenever I'm using my right leg for both sides, I'm always thinking about the arrow that my knee creates. So if I'm going to the side, to my right side, my knee points to the right.
Mm-hmm.
If I am going to my left, my knee points to the left. And the reason is we want to absorb and let the knee bend in the direction you're receiving the energy of your follow.
Mm-hmm.
If it's pointed at me, then that energy goes into my other leg.
And
So-
then my knee goes also into somewhere.
Yes. And it hurts regardless if you're a follower or a leader.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're here,
So if I'm going to go
your,
here,
your knee will go
my
on
knee
the
should go
outside.
this way, not inside there, but outside.
Yeah.
Oh.
Boom.
So not all the way through to here.
Sorry, I apologize. So this one here, it goes through because
Mhm.
you're in the middle.
Okay.
And then when you go to the other side, it goes to the outside, right? So you go here.
Outside meaning not through here, but here.
Yeah, so you're trying to create that action. Now, if you are going in, just
Mhm.
like the other side, you really have to. So we talk about an agancho and a displacement. I create a line
Mhm.
that goes straight, whether it's forward to back, side to side. Anytime that you're doing a gancho, your foot has to cross that line if you're going to do it in closer position. More open, closer, which
Mhm.
is personally what I like, is to have that leg all the way in and for us to be able to cross that line of the follow.
So ideally, just in a closed position, my knee will be past that line.
That your foot primarily and your knee gets to it.
Mhm.
Right? So your knee crosses the line, your foot crosses the line, and as you go in, your knee naturally goes to the other side.
Mhm. Okay.
So now you're not in my way. When I do this, you're not in my way. Your foot is not in the way, so I don't hit it. You're creating a big enough space, and then for me to release, let's say you wanted me to go backwards, you straighten your knee, and then you also give me the energy to continue going in this direction.
Mhm.
All right? So let's try to do that with music.
So wait, how? Oh. Wait, before music, let's talk about getting into and so you got out of it. So I understand getting out of it.
Yes.
Okay, getting into it is just on. Let's say we're walking, and I go here, boom, and let's see, boom, boom. I could step out just with a displacement on that side without
Mhm.
moving my foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was too late. Okay. All right. Let's
Alright.
try it.
So
I'll try it.
since he called me back for this one.
Yeah.
All right, so when we are displacing or doing a gancho, which, you know, if you get this, then the displacements become easy, is I can always wait for you, right? We could be dancing. I can already be on the leg that I want to be,
Mm-hmm.
and then just wait for you to be in the correct place.
How
Or-
did you get there? So give me one of them to practice.
So grapevine. Right? And you let me in this, so I'm assuming that we know this. I place my weight on my left as you take 2 more steps, a forward step. I pivot on my foot, and then I get there right away. So I get ahead of you. And I'm already on the leg that I need to be,
All right. Let me see.
and this one just moves into. Nice.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Do it again.
Okay.
Nice. And what I do is I always think about, I always plant my foot on the lady's forward step or on the follower's forward step. There. So I would plant my foot there, and now I have a choice of a back gancho or a side gancho. Right? So if the follower takes the forward step, I get in position to do that back gancho, or the lady takes that forward step, I get in position for that side gancho.
So I haven't tried the forward ones yet.
The forward? The back ones?
The back, yeah, back. So let's see. No, wait. Here.
Yeah, and this, the same theory. So the leg that's free is the one that you got close to. Put your foot to the other side and across the line. There you go. Gancho.
Let me try the side ones first, and then I'll practice some of the back step ones. Yeah. Where are you going with the music? We can try music.
Yeah, let's try with music.
That was not a side one.
So the biggest thing is whenever I'm planting, I can plan way ahead of time. I can have you just move me. So basically, I'm just kind of skateboarding to when I know that I can do this. And like that, I already have my weight on my leg. So that's a cheating action that some leaders can let the follower kind of take them around. And then all I have to do is stick my foot out.
And that's led from just me rotating my chest, asking them to go, or just once I initiate, they're just taking it from their own power?
So two schools of thought. I can continue to guide you with my body, but once the follower starts the grapevine, unless the leader stops the follow and changes their direction, it's a rule of thumb that they continue that energy or that movement. It happens in a lot of other dances, like Zouk, where once I start turning you, I either have to stop you, or if you're doing solo stuff, you can change yourself, right?
I prefer that. I don't like. I prefer we start them and they keep going until we change something. So lead the changes, not every step.
Tango works very similar to that.
Yeah.
And the reason that we do this is because this is a rule of thumb. A grapevine is a rule of thumb where the follower continues to go side, back, side, forward. And now as a leader, I know that she's going to continue that. So then I can choose when and what step I want to actually play with. If the follower decides to change that action, then we can't know when we can actually
But
play
the follower has the right to do that. They could change it so correct. They get the timing, like boom.
The timing, yes. The steps, no. So now she's going ba, da, da, step, 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 step. Now I know the timing that the follower has. Da, 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 da. So now I can match the follower with my actions, right? So in terms
as a follower, do I have to maintain that, or could I go, let's say, boom, 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 and like switch it up if I hear it in the music, you know?
Yeah, you can. I mean, as a leader, I can actually adjust those things. I can let the follower take the role of leader, of leading the timing that they're listening to. But when it comes down to it, if I wanted to slow you down, I can.
Yeah.
And then.
So you just stop me somewhere, split weight, prep it, and then.
Yep.
Then.
So basically, I create the timing. But if the follower feels the music better and they're playing around, I allow that. And then.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I am the leader, I have to either allow it or not allow it. So as the leader's role, I could let the follower play around, and then when I'm ready, I can slow the follower down to do the timing that I need to do for doing the ganchos, right? So we're that's one way of doing it, is being on the foot that you are based on and then making sure that your other one is ready to gancho, right? Then the second one is we syncopate our steps. So we go 2 steps to the follower's 1. So I go ba, ba, ba. So basically, I'm getting onto the foot sooner, and I'm doing almost a N1, while the follower is just taking that 1. We just took 2 steps. We're in position. Then the follower.
And that's on your forward step?
Or on the side step.
Well, so let's say I'm trying to get the side one.
And again, it's going to be the leaders. The leader can syncopate and wait and do it. They can do it a little bit ahead of time, which I recommend for new leaders to do, or do it at the same time. When you're going side, front, and as you took your side, I went and boom.
The side even, waiting longer.
Yeah. I don't recommend that for, there you go. For people that are slow or leaders that are slow or thinking about what they're having to do, I suggest always being ahead of the game, so like that you can, the more you do it, the better you get in terms of how little time you have to take to do that. So it can be a surprise. With that, ganchos are not something that a lot of teachers like to teach. I know personally some teachers that hate teaching ganchos or boleos or anything like that, because they are actually part of your natural action. So walking. So there's a lot of teachers that teach walking, and they teach basic steps and basic movements around the floor, basic interchange with steps that we do, but they don't teach the ganchos and the boleos, because a lot of people are trying to create ganchos and trying to do boleos on their own, and it's not supposed to be that way. The ganchos happen out of your simple steps. You're taking a side step, a back step, a side step, a forward step, a side step. Out of that side step, all I do is I twist your body up and I get in your way, so your foot naturally hooks onto my leg. It is not something that you need to know. Like, once you get used to just relaxing and letting yourself be led, then that action just comes out of your regular side step. That I twist it up, and then your body naturally creates a hook. On the back step, the same thing. When you're doing your back gancho, which we'll go into pretty soon here, you're taking a back step into a side step, right? Again, a back step into a side step. That side step is what I actually interrupt. I interrupt it from going sideways. So as you take that back step, I interrupt that side step. If I wasn't there, it would literally just go here. And so when we start talking about teaching ganchos, it is really important that we find that fine line, that the follow was going back. The next thing the follow was doing was just this. What happens is we interrupt that action, and then that side step, instead of going here, the foot continues and it creates the gancho. But it's not that the followers, or if you try to do you try to stop me on that back step, it's not that I am trying to hook my leg. My leg is relaxed, and I'm trying to take that side step, but you're not letting me because you interrupted that action. So if I were to do this, and you were to just do a grapevine, right, and close your eyes, and I do this. So I pretended I did a gancho, but I did not. And Parker did what I wanted him to do, which was, in the mind, we're like, okay, we're going to do a gancho. And we go for it. And we go for it prematurely, right? So what happens is, and this is what a lot of us guys do all the time. So when we're trying to do this, the follow should just continue her line. I'm just trying to block it and create that action. The more that the leader does it, the easier it is for the follower to know when those ganchos happen because all they're thinking about as a follow is, I'm taking a side, forward, or back step. And even with your eyes closed, the minute that I interrupted the action and you try to take that side step, then that actually gave me a very relaxed gancho.
So the technique for the followers is just keep trying to take your steps and then relax your knee. Don't keep it stiff.
So this is an exercise that you can do is you put your foot here. For any gancho that you do or any boleo, which is the same, the kind of the same feeling, is when we do our basic step, we drag our foot, we project, and we transfer. So all we're doing for the exercise for doing ganchos is we're dragging all the way till you can't drag anymore to your tip of your toe. And then what happens there is by that point, there's an interruption. So my foot continues to go and it hooks. When you're doing a gancho, your knee points at the floor, right? So it's never this. This is how most people interpret ganchos. They point their foot out and they're kicking up. That means they're kicking me here really hard. So when we do a gancho is we're always trying to get that knee to point to the floor, and whatever comes up is just the footwork. If it's higher, I lift my heel up if I want to.
So it can go past floor too, like we can.
Yep. So the exercise is this: drag to your toe and go.
Oh, well, actually,
Drag.
so even if it's past the knee is still pointing towards the ground.
That is correct. Yeah, so depending on where the leader is, sometimes my knee is going to be here, sometimes it's going to be here. But it will never be here when my foot lifts.
You're not lifting the knee in front.
Yeah, it's just from the knee up.
Okay.
So, but what happens is when the follower gets here, a lot of followers tend to lift here. And they have to always try to brush that floor as far as they can, even that tension happens, and then come up. So you do that as a follow.
And then as far as like, so the styling would just be pushing off the ground and pointing the foot essentially?
Yes, but now you just showed me something I want to correct. So whenever we brush in, we're always brushing with the inside edge of the big toe. And when we, the practice for this, and this is going to help you for other stuff where your leg comes up, your toe continues to be pointed out and turned out. When your foot comes back down, it comes back down on that toe into inside edge. So you're brushing inside edge, you come up, you bring it back down, inside edge, come down. What a lot of the followers end up doing here, including myself when I started, was we start twisting our foot and we sickle it inside. And we don't point it, we keep it flat. So what we want is to go to a point on the floor, keep lifting with the point, foot turned out, bring the foot down and close. The same thing you do on the other side. You brush, you point, you lift, you come down, you close. Now, when I'm doing this, I am actually trying to send my foot straight behind me and straight down. We're not trying to open up our legs.
Are we doing almost like a tandu type of thing where it's like
yeah,
kind of like kick the dirt back?
Yeah, minus turning the foot in. It's very easy to turn the foot in.
Oh,
so
if you're doing that right.
So you want to make sure that you're always brushing and pointing. Now the trick to making sure that you guys work on this correctly is that you bring the foot down on the toe to collect back. So if you do it fast, it's still the same thing. It should not be, and then switch it. If you feel your foot sickle, you have to turn it out and point it.
Foot sickle. It's like a frozen foot.
Yeah, so don't freeze your feet, okay? Because if you freeze your feet,
that sounds gross.
Then you would look like a foxicle.
Footsicle.
That makes sense. All right, anyway. So the technique for the footwork is that. So as a follow, and you go into this action, and I go here, I blocked you, you're going to always, so your foot might just get here. Now, for the follows, if you wanted to go higher, lift your heel up on the ascending leg, and then you can go down a little bit. Boom. And then the foot can come up higher. All right? So
am I using my upper body at all to kind of shape and balance that out, like here?
Nope.
No? Okay.
So the idea of a gancho is that you hook and you come back out.
Mm-hmm.
You hook and you come back out. So exactly where you started was where you end up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different
You
story.
mean
if
don't
the-
grab onto your leg?
That is correct. That is an actual move. When the followers end up doing this, I end up dipping them in Tango, which is not a thing. So don't ever do it. If you get dipped by me in Tango, that means you messed up. So I'm fixing it. So anyway, no dipping in Tango. No dipping in Tango or grabbing my leg. So when we do this, if the leader decides to hook at the same time and pull the leg up, we create a hook and a hold, but it is the leader that creates that.
Okay.
So in terms of that, a lot of ladies and follows end up holding on. By the way, if you wonder why I'm keep saying ladies, is Tango is such a diverse dance, but for a very, very long time it was men and women. Now we have diversity. So I still catch myself saying the latter of the two, so I think that was correct.
Who are you talking to?
Oh, I'm talking to Parker, but I'm explaining to you since you're watching. Anyway, so when the followers are doing that, the hook happens because the leader holds. It should not be that the followers hold at all on that hook. And it's very easy to do it, so try not to do it. Or you. All right? So let's try it.
So what am I doing now?
You're going to lead me into a gancho, a back one.
That was too late.
Actually, it's too early. Front, side, wait for my back one, and that's going to go over here. That's the side one. Beautiful.
Oh, that's the side one. Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So the back one comes after the side. No, here. This one after that back.
Yes.
That back after the. I'm interrupting the back step. Sorry.
That's
All
correct.
Yeah.
And yes.
So I just didn't get close enough to your foot that time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's your.
Oh, he's leading. Such a bad follow. Yeah, so as a leader, if you don't give me the room, I can aim for doing a gancho, but I'll probably do it really badly. So then I end up kicking you. So depending on how
So if
we
I
are,
get kicked as a follow, I mean as a leader, it's probably my fault.
90% of the time it is our fault because we position ourselves in those weird angles.
Right. And she's just letting her foot go.
So
And so if I get, yeah, it's my fault. Okay.
there is sometimes where I cannot blame the leaders because the followers do something
funky
very
thing,
weird,
right.
which is when they do a gancho, they've learned a technique where the foot is supposed to go to the outside.
Right.
So they kick that way. So the idea of
And that's when the heel gets embedded into your thigh.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what happens is we're trying to close our feet, and there is a leg there, so they don't close all the way, but we're still pulling our leg underneath us, and then it goes back out. Wherever it ends up going is the leader's job to point it. Now for the leader is also for you, just to make sure, is make sure
Turn out the leg, yeah.
that the standing leg is always turned out, especially when the lady is or the followers are going through.
Okay, I got that one turned out better that time. Now I'm going to try the same leg. So yeah, okay, so when I did that one, I felt my body rotating and my knee going like this. I need to try and still maintain it out like that. Let me try that one again. Okay. So that's a weird twist for me. Like we're not letting that turn in there.
Now, if it does, because you're turning with with the follower's energy, it's not as bad as when it's just a foot going through and coming out on this side. So we're clearing the space for anything that goes through and goes that way, right? If it's going in the opposition, we're going with it, so it's not.
So there's not. So my knee isn't over there for her to kick.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So it can. So it's okay to turn it in like this.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to. Like
So
I don't have to rotate.
I'm still
here.
going to try to keep it from doing this,
Right.
where my toes are pointing in the same direction, but the difference. I'm working with my ankle to bring it in, rather than my foot twisting, because now I'm unstable for.
So
falling.
what's the without naming any names? What's the worst? Tell me the worst story of getting kicked in a gancho.
So I was dancing with this follow, 3.5-inch heels. The heel went straight into the top of my calf. Luckily, I was wearing jeans because I was not dancing traditional tango, and it did not pierce, but it left a nice bruise there.
No blood.
No, that came after, but it was also a follower stepping through with 3-inch heels and going straight through my shoe.
Oh, wait, the same day?
No, different day. It went between my toes,
Same
so it
follower?
didn't hurt me. We won't say. But it was, again,
Wait, it went through your shoe?
stepping with their weight when they're not supposed to.
I've had experience of that roofing before, seeing people step on nails and nails go through, but like, yeah.
Yeah. So the stilettos are like smaller than my pinky, so they just went straight through my shoe. I guess at that time I needed new shoes.
Did you get stitches or no?
No, I went straight through between. So it bled a little bit, but it was just between my toes, so it's not that bad. Does that make sense? Now, the other thing, I mean, not the bleeding part. The other thing is when we're doing ganchos, we don't want to get so shorter than the follow.
Okay.
We actually are trying to stay tall.
Okay.
So we want to try to create this action, but we don't want to.
So you're gonna, so as you lower here, are you actually gonna lift your frame a little bit to keep them up? Yeah.
So you're trying to do this. So my head is probably coming down about a 1/2 inch, but the lower you get, the harder it is to control.
So like if let's say, like if I lower, instead of taking you down, I can try and raise my frame slightly
because
to keep you at the same level?
Yep, because if you take me with you, I get heavy.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, so we're always trying to keep, in Tango, we're moving circular, and we're also trying to always spiral up, or always kind of hook in that direction rather than trying to hook into the ground, because it becomes heavy.
So what happens when follow is just taking like their grapevines like this, rather than reaching in and like giving you space?
Awesome question. Whenever a follow is doing a grapevine or steps that are very small, I do not do ganchos, displacements, anything heroic where my leg is trying to go between their legs and trying to create hooks and displacements and
I
stuff
feel like
that.
a displacement is possible still then.
It is, but it's harder. So whenever I know that a follower is ready for doing displacements and ganchos, so in the beginning of Tango, we talked about step collect, step collect, step collect, step collect, step collect. So we collect at the end of the step, right? We step and then we collect our feet together. At that point, the follower is giving you very little time to do anything because they're trying to close their feet.
Right.
Once we move into the follows closing at the beginning of the next step. So I close to move through, I close to move through, I close to move through, so they stay open longer.
Right. So it's really just it's not lingering in the collect. It's from from here to here, and it passes through center.
That's correct.
Okay.
So that means that the followers are waiting in their split weight or 2-foot action longer, creating the line of a lunge and a straight leg.
So do I want to? So I want to be dancing through split weight a lot more.
Yes.
Nice.
So again, you're gonna go through split weight, and you're not gonna remove that that leg until you're ready for the next step.
Mm.
So when I see that the follower is taking their steps longer and give him that space, now I go, okay, now I have the time to be able to do. See, now I have a lot more time to create these actions. Boom. But when the follower gives me very tiny space, I know that I can try. And as a good leader, yes, you probably can. But it would be like 50-50.
Oh, like you would have to like sandwich or slow down first, have them step over, and then redirect it.
Yeah.
Like,
Or create a bigger step by lowering down.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that then I can create those actions. So we can create it.
Give me a tapper there.
Uh-huh. Yeah. If you didn't know, ask Parker on his next lesson. All right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Let's play some music and have you do all those things.
All right.
Awesome. And then with this, we're going to try doing ochos for your back. So when we do ochos, you're going to do back ganchos, and then grapevine for doing the side ganchos.
Uh-huh. I had a question. What was the question? I forget what the question was. Go for it. Play music.
Hey. Oh, not this one.
What did I do there?
Oh.
Did you anticipate that gancho, or?
Well, you gave me a rhythm. So that rhythm.
So if I don't block, it wouldn't just go out?
True.
So let's say I go like here, 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 and I don't block that way. Can you go out, or would I just, would I have to do this one and then do that?
That would be
preferable?
Yes, because you started me on a rhythm or
Okay.
a specific pattern. So then you took me out of my norm.
Okay.
Bueno, viejo Francisco, recibe al público. En un México el guerra tiene ecuación en invierno, que te haga el auto dar banquero. Y la banda completamente habla de ti. Así la va. Muy bien.
That's nice.
I still felt so like I was getting the pattern of it. I think I was giving you more space than in the beginning and stuff. I felt myself going down though too much.
The other thing that you changed a lot was whenever you did a gancho, you really did a lot more twisting action on it to give me
And
that.
that's a good thing, or?
Yeah, it's a good
Okay,
thing.
good. Okay.
Where if we don't do the twisting and we just kind of lead the gancho without the twist, the follower doesn't necessarily know that she's going around us to create the gancho. So the difference is in the beginning you did a gancho and the follower was going in that direction, or I was going that direction. This time, you twisted me into that action.
So it's kind of like tangent to the circle, like where
So you continue
instead of
that
keeping
movement.
that line, it's like setting her on the new line going in the direction around the circle.
So anytime we're doing a gancho, it happens around us. So last thing before we end is we have these things where the follower can go around us, whether it's forward or back. So when the follower is moving around us, then that foot ends up going here, and it stays within our frame. The minute that the follower goes away, we have to reach outward.
Wait, try that one again. Do it wrong. I just wanted to try and pull him off.
Oh man. Groin split. But so whenever we move away, or we let the followers move away, then we have to then reach. And that's actually a mistake that we in the beginning do, where we forget that everything that happens around you, if you're the axis, the follower has to travel around you.
So let's say I make that mistake and like my follower is going out there and I should probably just turn it into that.
Turn it into displacement or abort. So let's say I was doing this to you and you went out. I just keep going and just move with you.
All right. Yeah, no, I need to learn not just how to do it right, but how to adjust when people do it wrong and stuff too, and where I do it wrong or either way.
And then, just if you're with somebody else practicing the gancho, just swing this leg back and forth. And then keep the foot turned out. There you go. So you can choose to gancho in front, gancho behind, and you can play around with timing that. And then you would do it on the other side.
That's a nice one.
So
that seems like a really good exercise, even just before you ever try that with a follow. Like if I'm teaching a follow, like what a gancho is, just to do that exercise for like the whole day first. You know?
So then it happens on either side, and then the other one would be that you did it here, side, boom, and all you're doing is Captain Morgan-ing to either side. I don't move from my axis. It's the follower going from one side to the other.
Okay. So I'm just going. I want you going backwards though, right?
Yep.
So I want you
Side,
back.
forward, side, back, 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 forward, side, back.
Get my knee out of the way. Nice. Cool.
Nice. All right.
Awesome. Thank
You
you.
have just improved your ganchos a lot. So, any quick comments? Things that...
Are you going to use, let's see, this same technique in American rhythm? Like, because I know there's like like American smooth tango. I know there's like some parts in there like,
There is...
It's choreographed more, you know, where this is the step, but would you use this same technique in doing it?
I use that technique. I don't change it.
Yeah.
So a lot of people do because of
just the lines.
The lines that you're creating.
Have you noticed that judges like or don't like it in American smooth?
Judges that know Argentine tango like when actual Argentine tango is used in their American style.
Especially when doing a gancho.
When you're doing a gancho, and when it looks correct.
Right.
When it looks forced, and I'm doing da 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 da, and I'm doing this, and I'm this far away from you, and my leg is in the wrong position.
Right.
If I were to go here and you were to go here and kick your leg up, and then we go into promenade, then it becomes smoother transition rather than something that's blocking.
Have you had good experiences leading ganchos in like urban kiz or kizomba fusion with to non-tango dancers?
There's always a little problem.
Yeah.
A lot of so the technique of Argentine tango to the technique of kizomba is.
So I wouldn't really try this in kizomba, but I'm just like a kiz fusion type of thing.
So
yeah.
a kiz fusion, yes.
Yeah.
So if I know that somebody dances tango and they dance kizomba, that's when I put a lot of
right,
my
of course.
tango into it.
How about being able to incorporate it to somebody who you don't know dances tango, or maybe doesn't dance tango but does like kizomba fusion or like urban kiz?
Yeah, if they're doing urban kiz,
Mhm.
I would do it because they do work a lot with changing weight, very similar to Argentine tango. So it's not a big difference. The aesthetic of the dance is different, but some of the moves that we do are very similar.
Mhm.
The being on the same tracks, crossing that line, creating the ganchos, holding the leg, making the followers bend their legs. So I think that a lot of this tango stuff really does work with urban kids a lot. So
I think maybe for future episodes and stuff like that, we can start playing with the concept and then seeing how it applies or how we could apply it in other dances as well. You know?
That's true.
Yeah. Cross training, man. That's what this is about, So instead of just one dance at a time, we can take one aspect of something that we're working on and be like, all right, can we do this here? Can we do this here? Does it work? Why does it work? Why doesn't it work?
Maybe next time, since now we know ganchos, maybe we can introduce ganchos to urban kids.
And maybe how to even ballroom and how to apply it in actual like smooth tango and make it look and feel right. See if we can make it look good for ballroom tango also.
All right.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Cool stuff to think about. Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for joining. See you next time. Peace out.